I really think that All Might from My Hero Academia is a really fantastic character. And I particularly love the way that he's drawn, like completely differently to everyone else at the show, and the big shapes of shadow. And then the smile. The smile is just such an integral part of the character, right? And I love how we get some of the backstory and turns from like this innocent kind of naive ideal of a character who has this ambition of being like this symbol of justice and also safety, to like a promise so integral to the character, so much a part of the character's like sense of self. And then finally, in the Armored All Might fight, it becomes a fuck you. And you can see, or like it's at least heavily implied enough that like as a younger hero, as kind of an apprentice hero, this idea of like, I want to be the guy that at the end of the day is always smiling. And like there's a certain amount of like just kind of macho bullshit to that, but also it's like, it's this idea, it's just like, well, if I want to be the symbol of justice, I can never be broken. I have to keep on smiling no matter what. And you can imagine, through a career, it's just like some days are not going to be as easy as others. Sometimes that smile is going to be much more of a grimace, right? But like the idea that this character has of who it is that they have to be, who it is that they choose to be, of course, that kind of almost naive idea becomes so integral to their concept, to their sense of self, really. And like, it's not something that Deku shares, is it? Like, he shares the idea, he wants to be like a new All Might, but that's not him, is it? God, this is fucking hard. And then, of course, in the first episode, we see that All Might is, in fact, the Toshinori is, in fact, incredibly badly wounded. And that to take his hero form puts him in a huge amount of pain. I imagine he's in a lot of pain all the time, in fact. But we see him in, like, his muscle form for, like, a while, not even doing anything particularly special, but then transforming back and just, like, coughing up blood. Like, he's not well. I think it's really exemplified by this moment with him and the shock absorption Nomu, the big burly dude. And almost it's like, shock absorption, you say? Did you say shock nullification? No? All right then. So there's this part in like the first Lord of the Rings book. I think the book does it better in this case. So Frodo is starting to understand really the stakes of what's going on, and he starts to understand that someone needs to do this. And they're probably not going to survive. And he just goes, what do I need to do? And like, I'll get at Frodo. Like, dude is like literally the richest kid in the entire Shire. Like, of the 4 hobbits, Sam is the only one of them with a job. Right? Like, the rest of them come from very, very old money. Like, I'm not really a fan, but the thing is, Frodo is a hero. And so are the rest of them. And so Frodo, in that moment, accepts that he will do whatever it takes. And All Might has chosen the same thing. He has chosen to be the guy that shows up and says, it's fine now, I'm here. He's going to handle whatever it is that he needs to handle, regardless of the amount of pain that he is in, which he is. And you see in this like fight with the Nomu that he's spitting up blood all of the time. And this is the thing that I love about the way that he is drawn, because we understand from the implications of everything that's going on that he is in so much pain, that he is actually a much darker character than we realize. I mean, of course, we hopefully do realize it, of course. And as we see from the consequences of him ultimately semi-retiring, right, he is very much correct in that the idea of what he is more important than himself. And like, I'm not the biggest fan of like the cyclical sorts of things and the kind of legacies and the passing down the torch and all that sort of stuff. I think there's so many different anime, particularly shonen anime, that have those sorts of themes to them that I'm kind of just come on. But like these characters who are just like, look, I don't know if I'm necessarily going to survive this fight, but this is who I am. This is what I need to be doing right now. That always gets me. Might Guy from Naruto. So he understands through his entire career that he's got the 8 gates. And he's got the 8 gates. He has got the ultimate taijutsu. He's got some of the ultimate, like his ultimate technique. Ultimate in this case very much also meaning final, except that it didn't, which is kind of I mean, it's a bit of a cop-out, but also I'm like not that mad. But like with the context of him opening the 8 gates and then ultimately passing away, if you rewatch Naruto and Naruto Shippuden, there are a number of cases when he's there facing like a really, really deadly opponent, often with Kakashi, and he turns to Kakashi and goes, if I need to. And Kakashi's like, no, we're not there yet, we can still solve this. But like the context of like Might Guy understanding that throughout in his entire career, that at some point someone might appear where he needs to do that, and he is ready to. He understands, or rather he has made the decision that what he is protecting is more important. And now I would argue that I don't necessarily think that narratively All Might should have actually lived that long. But then we come to the fight in Armored All Might, Iron Might. I love that we all just like, no, it's Iron Might, it's Iron Might. And this is exactly what I mean by like the level to which the smiling is so much of a part of his identity, and how that gradually transforms. And in the Armored All Might fight, it reaches its pinnacle. Because, and hopefully I remember to put like a spoilers warning at some point in this video, Now, hopefully I remember to put like a spoilers warning at some point in this video. His final showdown with All For One, and him saying, "Oh, you're the big bad guy." We all know that, but guess what? I'm still smiling. Can you hear those guys? The white cockatoos. Bloody hell. But that great character moment that I imagine is very cathartic of like, yeah, I'm fully aware that I'm probably going to die today by standing up to you, but also I'm still smiling. There are quite a lot of examples of adult, male mentor characters sacrificing themselves for the next generation. In the Xenoblade Chronicles series, it happens every game, and it's the same guy. It's Van Damme, every time. In X, he doesn't sacrifice himself, I don't think, but he would have. Given half a fucking chance, he would. And a lot of this is a trope, and this is not like fridging, this is kind of the opposite thing. This is a trope that's kind of born from, you can't necessarily have like a good, proper, good influence male mentor character around all the time, because most characters still have to go through their very angsty period, and like there are often a lot of situations that like would potentially be solved by just like sitting down and having a proper conversation about things, which is exactly the kind of thing that this mentor character would be like, all right, now everyone sit down, we're going to hash this out. And we can't have that. We still need these sorts of arcs, so we just kind of have to, kill off that character. And so often these sorts of characters do not get a very good character arc, because often they're already kind of at the end of their arc. But All Might kind of already being kind of at the end of his deal, he should be at the end of his character arc, has a whole character arc through the season as well, through the series as well rather, which culminates brilliantly in this like sheer expression of self, which is the Armored All Might fight. This like great cathartic, you didn't break me. Now I'm gonna break you a bit. And him yet again embracing who he is and everything that he has learned from his students, and that culmination of his entire again arc throughout the series in this one fight. It's done just from just like a character point rather than just like a choreography or like a fight scene sort of thing. Simply for a character moment, it is done really well. God, you fuckers are noisy. Those fuckers can live for up to 100 years, and they're that noisy every fucking day of that 100 years. Almost a good character. He's very well done. I love the way that he is drawn. I love the contrast between the muscle form and the regular Toshinori form. I don't think that's like necessarily a regular form. That's like his shriveled form. Well, I don't know how nomenclature. Having a scene that is the single culmination of everything that a character is not easy to do, and they did it so well. A number of times, actually. I mean, the United States of Smash, that alone would have been great. If he had died then, we would have been like, good ending. Absolutely, good end for that character. Absolutely, good mate. Good job, mate. Have a rest. I hope there's an afterlife in your setting. But that, like, great, almost manic kind of beating up of All For One, it did it for me. It really did.